Brindisi, as they say. And, well, as you know, Shana and Susan Melly are the curators of this show, and Lauren is created this wonderful feast for us tonight, which there's so much magic behind that, it's amazing. And Peter Walker has these wonderful pieces here, and Victor Wilde, who is, oh my goodness, blown up a whole bunch of clothing. He's the predecessor to our, actually he's the predecessor to our next show, which is the gun show. So there you have it. You know, we thank you for being a part of it. And actually, because of what he does, he's actually going to be included in that show. His jewelry will be a part of that show. So yes. So thank you very much. We have a couple of artists who unfortunately couldn't be here. Sears and Annie.
Who's in Ireland at the moment.
Yeah.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah. That's a really long excuse. And what a wonderful turnout. Thank you all for coming. It's really terrific. I am going to turn over the floor to, I guess you're a moderator, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, you're a moderator. That's it. It's your baby.
Thanks, Liz. Good job. She hates it when we make her do that. So well done. Oh my gosh. Okay. So first of all, wow. Right? Look at them all.
I know.
There's so many. So before I just sort of like jump into it, and because Susan and I have actually talked about the show a lot. We got interviewed on the radio. G. Davis did a thing, Diversions LA, so she talked to both of us. So we kind of have our shit down now, which is a pretty good one. I do say myself, yeah.
I just want to say one thing that Randy, are you here?
Randy is here.
Randy is done a terrific job in promoting this, and they were on the radio because of his great promotional abilities and so on. So,
Yes.
Randy.
It's a really great segue to my next thing, which was going to be to thank the venue and all the lovely people that work here for their hard work and support and all of that, and being so open to letting us kind of, do this. So before we just get started, because what I really want, especially because I just did a big like Huffington Post thing where I sort of summarized all my thoughts for the benefit of history on the topic. So that's all out there on the record. So I think what's always great about these things is the chance to hear from the artists in their own words in front of the work, kind of here. And so I want to say, first of all, if you do have questions or anything, you don't have to like wait till the end. Just be sort of nice about it. I don't even know if you have to maybe raise your hand or something, but I want this to be like a conversation, so don't feel like you don't hold it till like some later point. Just talk to whoever you'd like to talk to. You're welcome to do that. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that we also have Jeremy Ribbelman, who's out there, and he is sort of like our guest artist because there's one of Susan's pieces that was a collaboration between the two of them, and so we're going to ask him to say something a little later also, but that's, if I sort of like point up over there, that's probably who I'm pointing at. So that's preliminary. It really was, no joke, I mean it really was Susan's idea. Like this thing happened, this story about the crit group that she was in with Peter Walker and with Annie Terrazzo, that Peter Frank came and did a visit, made this comment about a feminist critique that was not a complaint. That really took root in Susan's imagination. She and Annie had wanted to show together for a while, and conversation kind of happened, and when it became apparent that it was going to be a thing, she called me to help kind of put the rest of the picture together. And we've been working on it since I realized almost a year.
Yeah,
you called me last October, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah. It's really been something that was sort of thought through and poked at from a bunch of different angles, and we wound up with this amazing group that has 2 and arguably 3, like straight white guys in it. So that's interesting too, because it's a feminist show. So that's maybe the variations part. I don't know. We'll get to that later once everyone's had a chance to speak for themselves. But what was really interesting is that because it was a little bit unconventional, because I'm not particularly combative politically by nature, neither is Susan, that we really wanted to kind of really try to take another way in to the topics that we all know are part of the feminist discourse, but from another point of view that maybe is purely aesthetic or has to do with a progressive take on fashion or any one of a number of other things, that it's not just sort of like a litany of horrors, right? But there's actually, you know, kind of room for nuances and paradoxes and other ways of looking at things, and that's really, you know, the show. And so that was my experience. I was brought into it. I loved the idea right away. Totally caught fire. We had a blast.
We had this
And
great
then,
little
so I'm gonna-
Facebook thing going
Yeah.
on before we even met as artists.
We had a Facebook group and we all talked.
She knew some of the artists, I knew some of the artists, but we didn't
Yeah.
all gotten together or anything. And we had this whole little secret Facebook group
It was great.
where we, you know, and we brainstormed the title and,
Mhm.
you know, expressed a lot of ideas and thoughts before we even actually came together.
Yeah, we really worked on it together. So that's, you know, kind of what I'm doing. And then I want to give it to Susan, and I want to give Lauren a chance to, sooner than later, to explain the amazing story behind the food that we've all been enjoying, because we love food with a
Let's just
story.
go straight to the food.
So if you don't mind, right, yeah,
Right.
right, straight to the food, what am I thinking? So straight to the food, and Lauren Kasmer, whose video and mixed media piece in there, is the participation, and then this incredibly inspiring contribution to tonight.
So first
And
of
she
all,
may have another engagement, so she may disappear, don't be alarmed. But first to the food.
Douglas. So I have a food collaborator who's a pretty amazing man, and invited him to see my work. We've worked together before, kind of respond to it and respond to the idea of women artists in general. So a few dishes were inspired by, Douglas is back there in the kitchen. Say hi. And here's some examples of the food that he prepared this evening. Because food is important, and
And
most of
because
my
the
art-
question, speaking of Facebook, that everyone wanted to know is, what is feminist food?
I love the title of this action or happening, Feminist Food for All or Free Feminist Food for All. It is a nice title, isn't it? This is what it is, you know, it's a nice title because it's the title of your show, and then we went back and forth with it. Is new interpretations, I think, of that word. When I originally heard that word, my initial reaction was, oh, somebody, Judy should come. Adrienne Rich, and ironically, I quote an Adrienne Rich poem in my video's soundtrack, but it's set underwater, so it's kind of hard to think.
I like it.
So taking that fluid theme, Douglas made a chicken soup gelée, kind of fluidy, and it's based on a Georgia O'Keeffe recipe. And some of the other food might not have made it out here, but there was a cucumber salad that was turned into a cucumber mousse, and that was Louise Bourgeois' idea at the time. And, these particular floats are Cindy Sherman's inspired. And then the meadow of mixed greens and flowers was inspired by a few people. And it's something that I love too, mixing, and I think that Shana spoke really well to this in the interview on the radio, and I loved what you had to say about everybody's work. And I thought you were really spot on about mine, so feel free to talk about it. Just that kind of layering, that mixing of the social, cultural practice with the artwork, the artists. I invite a lot of people to participate with me. Behind you guys, and looking at me is Alicia Robbins and Jennifer Ricciardi. They're professional sound and vision people, and I need help, so I invite anyone who has a like mind to come in and, you know, come on up.